Okay guys, let's go ahead and make video 2 just a little bit shorter, kind of section up these notes just a little bit. So we ended with the inventors. And this piece of propaganda kind of shows a lot of my inventors. You have them at the bottom, I believe, of your second page of notes. We have Eli Whitney, and it doesn't just say cotton gin. What else does it say right there, guys? You have to remember that. Interchangeable parts, okay? Eli Whitney. Then you have Robert Fulton, the steamboat, revolutionizing not only just water travel, but transportation up and down the Mississippi. Remember that Pinckney's Treaty we talked about? That's going to be absolutely crucial to trade. And then when the steamboat comes, water travel, more trade, faster trade. Instead of having to, carry it piece by piece up there, put it on a boat. More you transport, the more you sell, the more you sell, the more money you have. Edison's light bulb, possibly the most important one. Again, it's not just about, oh, look, pretty light. It's about, hey, I can light up what at night? A factory. Longer working hours, more production, more money. Cyrus McCormick, the mechanized reaper, grain, okay? And then here's one that actually I didn't have. Might want to add it. Might be a good extra credit question. Richard Hoe, nice name. The automatic printing press, going to be something that's going to be pretty important when we start seeing newspapers and discussions and books coming out and stuff like that. So, like I said, this is going to be a real kind of short note, so stay with me, pause it, get it down. We're just going to finish talking about the factory system that's been building in the north, and then I'm going to go ahead and cut it there, okay? All right, factory system. You should have just paused it, gotten this down. Okay, there is a man that you are going to have to know his name. His name is Samuel Slatter. Okay, it just sounds like a northern guy's name. Samuel Slatter. Okay, he is going to be known as the father of the American factory system. He comes to the U.S. to make his fortune actually in the textile industry. One thing I'm going to be looking for when I look at these notes or when I quiz you over them is I need you to understand what a textile is. Okay, a textile is, you ready? A piece of fabric, okay? We're taking cotton, we are kind of spooning them or spooling them into textiles. So we take cotton mills and we turn them into textiles, which means now I have cloth. And then if you think about what was the invention I had back here, that we could do something with cloth, you put it into a sewing machine, you now have a textile industry turning into a quote-unquote garment industry. These things and all of these new inventions are going to build off of one another, especially in the north where we have tons more railroads. So this factory system that's building in the north is going to come in very, very handy because they might be making, like let's say they're making women's clothing right now. The Civil War comes along. What do you need for soldiers? Uniforms. There it is. You have a factory system already built in with assembly lines, mass production. Make some more guns. There you go. That's going to be how the North wins the Civil War eventually. This is a really good picture of an early textile loom. Again, kind of spinning cotton, okay? So a lot of times they're called bobbins, and you're going to, in fact, read a document called Memories of a Factory Girl. I love that document, in which she works in a textile factory. And this is a loom that she would have worked on, this girl named Harriet Hanson Robinson. Now, when we talk about textiles, we have to talk about Lowell Mills. Pause this, get it down. Now, Lowell Mills, and I just, out beside this slide, I really want you to write Lowell, Massachusetts, so Massachusetts North, okay, is going to be possibly your picture-perfect example of a textile city. And yes, I said city, not factory. Let me explain. Americans are wanting to beat the British at their own game. They want to be better at the British than manufacturing. And, going back to, the Jeffersonian time period, the Jeffersonian democracy, Jefferson even embargoed trade against the British. We want to be a little bit better at manufacturing, and that might not have been Jefferson's goal, but it definitely was a byproduct. Exports dropped by 80% due to that embargo. So we start to see the beginning of the industrialization and manufacturing of the United States. Well, it's been slowly building, especially with these new technological innovations. There's a really important AP U.S. history kind of theme here, work and technology. Well, this guy named Francis Lowell, circle, highlight his name, comes over here to build British factories, and he meets up with this Boston mechanic, Paul Moody. Lowell's probably the most important one because they named the city after him, and they build what we call the Lowell System. Now, I want you to look at this. You don't have to write really hardly anything down except for maybe a couple key things. You might want to write it in between where I have who was a typical worker at the Lowell Mills. Okay, but I just want you to look at this city right here because this is Lowell, Massachusetts in 1832, and it's called the Lowell System. Young New England farm girls, oftentimes women and girls and children, would come to work at Lowell Mills. And here is a map of Lowell Mills, and we'll take a little bit of a closer look at it in class. But you notice the factories are on the river, okay? Then you're going to notice, of course, you have the boarding houses in blue. And then, of course, you notice the factories are right next to the boarding houses. So your sole purpose in life in the Lowell System is go to work, then come sleep in the boarding house. Go to work, come sleep in the boarding house. But if you keep looking right here, it says that the women were supervised on and off the job, and they worked, what? 6 days a week for how many hours a day? Holy Toledo, 13 hours a day. And then it also tells you that they were escorted to church on Sunday. So it says they worked 6 days a week, but really in all reality, they had people watching them 7 days a week. And this is in the North. So a lot of people, when they're critiquing slavery in the South, they will point to this factory system, this sweatshop system. That might be even a way we might talk about this. A sweatshop system in which, if you look at this map, this city and their lives, the people that live here, they exist for one thing: the factory life. Last slide. U.S. factory system. Pause it, get it down. Now, in the 1830s, industrialization grew throughout the North. The southern cotton in the South starts booming. But you've got to think about this. You want a match made in heaven? They grow the cotton in the South. They send it to the North. The North has a textile system. They make the cotton into textiles in the North. They sew it up into garments in the North, and then they sell it back to the South or to any other countries. So this system is a pretty good relationship. That's why we call this the era of good feelings. Industrialization is growing. And if you take a look at this map, I like this map. The largest circle on this map represents the largest amount of employees. Where is the largest circle on this map? It's not Boston. It's Lowell, Massachusetts. It's that Lowell Mills. So definitely something to think about when you're talking about American industrialization, is that relationship between South and cotton, North and textiles, and how they're going to build upon that. I'm going to go ahead and cut it here. We'll do video number 3 up in a second.